They say every stone tells a story. A headstone, a stepping stone, a marker for where something ended, or perhaps where something was lost. Tonight's tale is about such stones, one for every day a man lived with his sins and counted them, one by one. But guilt, you see, doesn't wash away with the tide. It clings to the soul like salt to a wound. This is the story of 100 stones and the last duty of a dying man. My hunger is like a dull ache I carry with me. It sits in the pit of my stomach, hollow but heavy, a burden I've grown used to. My gaze drifts to the embers as they dance and crackle. I consider all those sermons we listened to about the fiery pits of hell. I know now that hell is a cold, lifeless, lonely place, and I welcome the warmth of the fire. I continue to stoke the flames. I look up and see Callum walking to the cliff again. I feel the heaviness in his shoulders as I watch him go. Endless hours, day after day, he stands at that cliff. I don't know what he hopes to see. There's nothing but miles of ocean out there. Does he dare look down to the rocks to watch the waves crashing around her? I cannot bear to witness it. Amelia Ann, broken among the rocks, her beauty gone. Sometimes I wish I was there too, broken among the rocks. Alas, my duty is here. I stand and take a walk to the south side of the island. My path is worn well now. I take a deep breath in through my nose, smelling the salty air. I choose a stone and head back up to the grassy edge over the slope. I add the stone to my makeshift calendar. 84 now, I think, as I look at them. This daily ritual has brought some comfort in a time so unbearable. I sit a while and watch a group of gannets gathered on a large rock, their blackness a sharp contrast to the white of the crashing waves around them. I let the salt spray collect on my skin and clothes, leaving a dampness in me only the sea can do. I don't sit long. I must get back to tend the fire. When I return, Bridget is sleeping. My mouth waters as I catch a glimpse of berries in a kerchief. She must have picked them. I notice the fire is almost out. As I add some wood, I see Callum standing at the cliff again. I wonder if he's angry with me. It's my fault, after all. I cannot pass blame to anyone else, nor should he. At that thought, he turns and heads towards me. "We've not seen a single ship since we landed here," he says as he stares into the fire. "The water is treacherous here. Too many rocks," I say, keeping my gaze on the fire. I cannot look at him as I feel the guilt creep in. Fergus was right. We should have taken the long way round. Only a fool would enter these waters. I think of Fergus's wife, Ava, and their wee one. What a stubborn fool I was. Please forgive me, Fergus. I rise the next morning before Bridget and Callum. The days are getting shorter and colder. I tend to the fire before taking my walk to the south. "Toomey spot," as Bridget says. I stand and stare out to the sea. The water looks ominous today, dark with furious whitecaps. My mind drifts back to that fateful day that brought us here. I should have stayed on course. But 2 of my crew had fallen ill, and sickness started to spread to the passengers. I thought it necessary to change our course to a shorter one. I took a risk. All those lives. What kind of captain am I? I turn from the sea, trying to ignore the thoughts and images that haunt my mind. I add another stone. Now, 89, then head back to camp. When I arrive back, I learn that Bridget has started to take sick. Fever has started. Callum is talking to her, reassuring her she will be okay. But we three know what's coming. As Bridget succumbed further to fever over the next few days, she slowly stopped eating what little food we had to offer. And when she would no longer take water, Callum held her gently and with a purity of love I have never known. He continued to hold her in those last few hours. I placed stone 93 on the same day we took Bridget to the north side. We laid her to rest with the others. We've no shovel to dig graves. We do our best to cover her with debris and foliage as we did too many times before. The foliage hides what we've become in the name of survival. Is there any greater savagery? I feel nausea rise up thinking about the taste. The smell of charred flesh will haunt me in my grave. I can't bear to think about it. As if to appease my conscience, I tell myself that Bridget will remain intact. I will take no part of her flesh. How cruel circumstances can be, what it has made of us. The stench of death stays with me longer and longer each time, a sickening sweetness that clings to my skin and clothes. There will only be one more trip, or none at all. I've grown numb to the thought of death and realized that I am not the man I once was. I wake early the next morning, damp with sweat. The fever has started within me. I will not burden Callum with this. I have caused him to carry enough weight on his young shoulders already. When it gets worse, I will take myself up to the north. I begin to work on the fire, trying to catch the last of the coals. Once the fire is raging, I set out to my spot. Callum is still sleeping. He stayed at the cliff last night till dusk. When I come back, he is sitting at the fire crying. I cannot bear to see him like this. I wear my shame heavily, and I turn and head back to the south. When I return later, he is at the cliff once again. He has not spoken a word since Bridget's passing. I wake with scorching fever today. The last walk up north yesterday took all the strength I had left. It was the longest and hardest walk of them all. Now, my duty is done here. Well, almost. There is one last thing I must do. I walk to my spot and add the last stone. 100. 100 days of wretchedness, I think, as I turn and make my way back towards the cliff, the one Callum liked to stand at. I look down at her somberly. My heart is heavy as I look beyond her, out to sea. I think of Callum and who he was before this, so full of energy, a future ahead of him. I think of young Bridget and the children she will never have, and Fergus. No better friend or seamate could be found. I think of the rest of the crew and the passengers now. I close my eyes and breathe in the salty air. Please, God, forgive me, I say aloud as I board the Amelia.